7 races from the Kalgoorlie Boulder Racing Club today. My name's Michael Heaton. Alongside me is Riley Morgan. Really looking forward to this meeting ahead. We have the Wizard of the West, William Pike, having his first day riding in Kalgoorlie this season. He's just about to win another Australian National Jockey Premiership title after booting home 4 winners at Belmont yesterday. Good afternoon to you, Riley Morgan. Welcome here to Kalgoorlie. Well, how can we make $1 out of this meeting?
Good afternoon, Michael, and to everyone on course and also tuning into racing.com and Racing WA TV as well. Very strong competitive program of racing this afternoon. I thought there were many races on today's program. You could make a genuine winning case for 3, 4, even upwards of that amount of runners. So a tricky program from a betting perspective for mine. I'm pretty keen on one in race 5 on the program. Brazen Empress has her first run for the campaign today for Peter Fernie. She was a 1200 metre fresh winner last campaign on a Saturday in town in what was a stronger race for mine than the race that she meets here this afternoon. She's drawn very well to hold a strong position over the speed in that race, and she gets the Wizard of the West on board, who, as you mentioned, riding for the first time here this season at Kalgoorlie today. So I did think she looked a really nice betting proposition at around that $4.60 mark with Tab Touch at the moment. So that would be my best bet on today's program, and I've got the Wizard down for 3 winners on today's card of racing, Michael. He rode 4 there at Belmont Park yesterday, and hoping that he can continue that good form into today's meeting.
Peter Fernie saddles up a lazy 19 today. How many winners for the leading trainer here in the Goldfields?
Well, I think he's certainly going to win the 70-plus event here today, Michael. Close at hand has just been far too good for his opposition in his 2 runs in that grade since landing here on the Goldfields. So he could be a Smoky Hannons type of a horse if he can continue to improve and win again with the same authority that he's won with at his previous couple of starts. He's a very versatile galloper as well. He can win from off speed. He's led and won as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he can produce today in a field that probably isn't a great deal stronger than those fields he's put away in his last couple.
We do have horses entering the yard now ahead of race number 1. The rail is at the 3 metre position. You've been to a few meetings lately. A quick word on how we expect the track to play?
I think, I guess across the last 3 or 4 meetings, the last meeting here, Michael, was the only one that was really on speed. So with that rail in the position that it is today, I am tending to think that it will play on speed until we're proven otherwise. So looking at horses that are likely to settle in the first half of the field, but generally get pretty fair racing here at Kalgoorlie. It's a beautiful time of year for racing up here on the Goldfields. The weather today is outstanding. The track's in terrific nick as well.
It is a wonderful day here. Picture perfect for racing. Let's have a look at them ahead of race number 1. It is the Regal Engineering Maiden over 1,612 metres. The first horse we'll look at is Perfect Ruler from the yard of Helen Harding. Zephyr Johnston Porter, who celebrated a birthday yesterday, claims 1.5 kilos here.
I was pretty disappointed with this horse's run last start, Michael. I tipped into him at Kalgoorlie. That was his first run here for Helen Harding. I thought he was well suited stepping back to 1,400 metres. Given the start before that at Northam, he just didn't see out the 1,600 metres for mine. Dropped back to the 14, led throughout, and got a bit tired over the concluding stages. Was beaten 3.5 lengths at the finish. I think he's capable of finding the front and holding the lead once again here, drawn low in barrier 2. But off the back of his run over the mile at Northam a couple of starts ago, back up to the mile certainly has to be a query for mine.
The 2 is Prince of Bondi, formerly trained by Jeremy Easthope, now with Crystal Burns, ridden by Lisa Staples.
And certainly appreciated getting to Kalgoorlie and striking a weaker maiden than what he had been finding himself in town when formerly with Jeremy Easthope. He put in a career best effort here at Kalgoorlie last start. Got a long way back over the 1,400 metres despite drawing well. Doesn't have a lot of early speed, this horse, but I did love the way he got to the line late over the concluding stages. Beaten 1.5 lengths by Lendonier at the finish there. Drawn barrier 3 here. Hoping he could maybe settle a pair or 2 closer and utilise that good draw here this afternoon, as if he does, he's certainly a genuine winning chance.
The 3 is Bondi's Son for Mac Hall and Luke Campbell.
Another horse who put in a career best effort last start through that same race. Ran 3rd, was just touched out by Prince of Bondi on the finishing post, but was really fighting back late when he was challenged by that galloper over the concluding stages. So I do think that stepping up to the mile, that should suit this horse here today from a much better draw as well. He's another key winning chance in this.
The 4 is Lasting Legacies, Peter Fernie, Tash Faithfull.
Thought he was a little bit disappointing last start, Michael. His run prior prior to that, over 1,200 metres behind the Sherrigini was actually very good given the run that he endured on that occasion. I thought stepping up to 1,400 was certainly going to suit him there. It was a little bit disappointing. Did slip at the start and ended up back in an awkward position, but still didn't really show much over the concluding stages of that race. Should be able to track the back of the speed here from barrier 1. Gets Tash Faithfull on board, which is always going to be a positive. But stepping up to the mile is certainly a new challenge.
The 5 is Blazing Gun with the winkers on for SJ Miller and Kira Yule. This is our favourite.
And this was my on-topper as well, Michael, but there was $5.50 available about this galloper there yesterday in early betting, and he's been very well backed. He's having his first run here at Kalgoorlie this afternoon, and he brings a fair bit of upside as well. I love the way he hit the line on debut at Northam. That was in a maiden over 1,300 metres. I actually thought on that occasion he got to the line a bit stronger than Talkaway, Neville Parnham's filly, who was able to break maiden status during the week in a pretty impressive manner and frank that form. So I do think that is the right form line to be following. Didn't handle the Bunbury fibre sand surface there last start, but I still didn't mind the way he got home late over the 1,500 metres. Gets the winkers on here today. Has drawn in barrier 4, hoping he can position up a pair or two closer in running, and with clear galloping room in the straight and a nice track into it, I think getting out to the mile certainly a big tick.
The 6 is Pretty in Pearls. Blinkers off, as well as the lunging bit off for Paul Tapper. First run with this filly, and Damien Boutet is aboard.
She's been a little bit disappointing in recent runs, Michael. She has recently struggled. Has a tough draw to contend with as well from barrier 9. Those blinkers come off today, but I'm not sure that'll be enough.
7 is Inner Joy for Ricky Brown and Troy Turner.
Showed a little bit early doors. I actually really liked her runs when formerly with Simon Miller. Those were back at Pinjarra. She ran 7th behind Mama Bell, got to the line really nicely on what was a very much on-speed day at Pinjarra. Then ran 7th behind Opportunistic, as we know, a very promising 3-year-old for Mickey Grantham and Peter's Investments, and didn't get a lot of luck on that occasion as well. Has had 2 runs here at Kalgoorlie. Both of those have been disappointing runs for mine, with the ability that she did show in town. She's drawn a little bit tricky here in barrier 8 as well. Troy Turner jumps on board, which is a positive, but she would certainly need to lift.
The 8 is I Know Nothing. Now, this is a surprise, prepared by Peter Fernie. This is William Pike's first ride at Kalgoorlie this season, and a big drifter, $4.40 out to $10.
Hasn't exactly shown much yet in her career to date, this filly, Michael, but as you mentioned, William Pike jumping on board for the first time is always going to be a positive. She is still very lightly raced. She's only had the 2 career starts. She has been very well beaten in both of those runs, but given she is so lightly raced, there could be a little bit of upside there.
And the final run of the 9, Ceylon Sapphire, Brock Luthwaite, Chris Nicol.
First up for 227 days, ran last of 12 down in Albany on debut in a maiden over the 1,600 metres. Going to suggest that off that layoff, she will need this run.
Before we have a look at the market, I'll catch up with Mac Hall, who's celebrating a birthday today. Mac, you just thought you'd have a trip to Kalgoorlie for the birthday?
Yeah, couldn't think of a better way to spend it.
How many candles?
23.
Oh, wouldn't mind being 23 again. What about Bondi's son here in the first? A relative newcomer to your yard, but a good effort last start.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, he probably career best run last start. We brought him up here first up, and he was nowhere near ready. We sort of used it as a trial, and his first 2 runs have been excellent. So yeah, hopefully we can go 2 better.
Think he can win today?
I think so. Yeah, we've sort of worked out how to ride him now. Probably riding him a bit aggressive early days, and now he's probably better ridden, a little bit quieter, and he can just sort of reel off a nice 200.
3 other runners for you today. I'm a page 3 girl, Precast and Crimo. Who's the best of the quartet?
I'd have to go Crimo. I really liked his run the other day. It was a sneaky good run, and he's drawn a lot better, so I think he's the one.
Hopefully there's a birthday present today, then best of luck.
Beautiful, thank you.
There is Mac Hall after he saddles up Bondi's son here, who does look a winning chance, but we will have a look at this market before I get your top 4, Riley. From the top, Blazing Gun, well supported, $3.60 into $2.50 favouritism. Lasting Legacies, $6.50 into $4.60 for Tash Faithfull and Peter Fernie. Prince of Bondi, Bondi's son, Prince of Bondi is on the 3rd line of betting now, $6.50 into $5.50. Bondi's son is on the 4th line, $4.40 out to $6. Perfect Ruler, $10 into $9. I Know Nothing, William Pike, $4.40 out to $10. Inner Joy, $10 out to $20. Pretty in Pearls, $34 out to $80 to 1. and Ceylon Sapphire, the outsider, at 101. How did you order the 4, Riley?
I went 5, 3, 2 and 4 here, Michael. Didn't expect him to be as short as he is in the market with Blazing Gun, but I'm happy to forgive the last start run there on the fibre sand at Bunbury. I don't think he handled the surface on that occasion, and despite that, I still think he got home quite nicely over the concluding stages. I loved his debut run. He trialled quite well leading into that debut run as well. That was at Northam over 1,300 metres, and I thought he got home better than anything over the concluding stages in that race. That was a race won by Return of the Mac, who looks a really nice 3-year-old horse for Adam Durant. The second horse, Rock the Market, has ability, and the third horse, Talkaway, Michael, as we saw during the week, was a very impressive maiden winner in town to make that form look even better. And I actually thought this galloper got home better than her on that occasion, and was a run of a horse looking for a bit more ground. She gets out to the mile here. I should say, gets out to the mile here for the first time in his career. Gets the winkers on as well. Drawn well in barrier 4. I'm hoping he can hold up a prominent position in running, or at least settle a pair or two closer than he has been. Because if that is the case, I do think he's going to be very hard to beat. So 5 on top for me. I am with this very well backed favourite in race number 1. From the 3. In Bondi's Sun, I agree with Mac there. This horse has really turned a corner since arriving here at Kalgoorlie. I thought it was a career best effort by him last start, the manner in which he hit the line over the concluding stages. And while he was touched out by Prince of Bondi over the concluding stages, I liked the way once he was challenged in the straight that he really wanted to fight back late in the piece, and getting out to the mile should really suit him. The 2, Prince of Bondi, goes in for 3rd, another horse who put in a career best run there last start, and 4 in for 4th, Lasting Legacies. So he's on the second line of betting. Very good run first up here at Kalgoorlie, over 1,200 metres behind the Sherigini and Lavish Charm. A little bit disappointing last start, but there were a couple of excuses after he slipped at the start and ended up a little bit further back than anticipated there. But the mile is certainly going to be a new challenge for him here this afternoon. 5, 3, 2 and 4, my numbers here in the first, Michael. But pretty keen if Blazing Gun can get the right run in transit, that stepping out to the mile, he will be hard to hold out over the concluding stages.
And the market agrees. 360 into outright favourite. $2.40 favouritism now for SJ Miller and Kira Yule. Perfect conditions here at the Goldfields today. The Variety Bash is an event on course, expecting 300 to 400 people for that event. So a wonderful day ahead here at Cal. Royce Newton is the voice of the Goldfields. Here he is to call home race 1.
Good on you, Michael. Yes, runners coming forward here for the first, the Regal Engineering Maiden. And your favourite, Blazing Gun, at $2.40. On the second line, Lasting Legacies, backed into $5. Prince of Bondi, $5.50. Bondi's Sun, $6.50. But it's been one-way traffic for Blazing Gun ever since the quote of $3.60 open, now into $2.40, will jump favourite and is about to come forward. So Prince of Bondi goes forward. We've just got 3 to come forward. Blazing Gun, Bondi's Sun and Ceylon Sapphire. Right, so Bondi's Sun just wheels about in the meantime. Ceylon Sapphire from the Luthwaite camp's going to come forward. Blazing Gun drawn nice in close. There goes Ceylon Sapphire. So we just await Bondi's Sun to complete the line. Ran a very nice sectional, this horse, last time out. Came from last on the turn to finish 3rd. And a photo there for the minor placing. Prince of Bondi just getting the nod for 2nd. Both around the $5, $6 mark. As Bondi's Sun for Luke Campbell goes forward. Stand by, 1,600 metres ahead of them. This is the Regal Engineering Maiden. Stand by. Set. Gates fly back from the mile. They're off racing now. Inner Joy going back together with Pretty in Pearls. With early speed, Perfect Ruler. There goes I Know Nothing for Pike going forward today. So in a bit of a surprise, I Know Nothing goes to the front, draws a length from Perfect Ruler. There's Blazing Gun around the outside on the improve. They were followed by Lasting Legacies, the fence being passed by Ceylon Sapphire. Further 2 then to Prince of Bondi, followed by Bondi's Sun, 3rd last, 2nd last Inner Joy. And at the tail, we've got Pretty in Pearls, 1,100 metres to run in the back straight. And it's I Know Nothing who shows the way by 3/4 of a length. Now this $2.40 favourite just stalking the leader at its girth, Blazing Gun for Yule. They were followed by Perfect Ruler. Then we had Ceylon Sapphire to the outside. Lasting Legacies the fence. A further length then to Prince of Bondi, who's doing it easy for the time being. The outside to Inner Joy. Bondi's Son just relegated to second last now. And last of all, it's Pretty in Pearls. So 700 metres to run as they enter the Charles Street side of the course. And it's I Know Nothing held together for Pike. Blazing Gun now just edging closer to the outside to join this leader. They were followed by Perfect Ruler, Lasting Legacies. Then we had Inner Joy, Prince of Bondi, well back then to Ceylon Sapphire. Together with Bondi's Son, who's being saved up, and at the tail, Pretty in Pearls. On the point of the turn as they come into the straight, and on the outside Blazing Gun takes over with ease, so Blazing Gun hit the lead. Lasting Legacies down the outside. Perfect Ruler switches to the inside, and here's Prince of Bondi letting down the outside. It's Lasting Legacies who hit the lead from Perfect Ruler, then Prince of Bondi, but Lasting Legacies in front with 50 to run and will hold on. Lasting Legacies wins. Second in Perfect Ruler. Third we had Prince of Bondi. Next in we had Blazing Gun. It was a bit of a flop, didn't offer much in the straight. Bondi's Son well back. They were followed in next of all by Pretty in Pearls, Inner Joy. And I Know Nothing crosses the line. And there's one more, that's Ceylon Sapphire, a distant last. Lasting Legacies. Peter Fernie, trained galloper. Might be a sign of things to come today. I think Pete's going to have a big day here at the KVRC. And Lasting Legacies for Tash Faithfull, Peter Fernie. Comes off a midfield performance last time out. Didn't make up much ground. Prior to that, the run had a bit of merit, but beaten 4.5. Has returned $7.20 on S-Tab. Number 4 goes into the frame. That's Lasting Legacies. One will get second. That's Perfect Ruler, who was forced to take a sit today after Pike went forward with I Know Nothing. And Perfect Ruler will get second here. Has put a couple of good runs together at the track now, knocking on the door, that's fair to say. Another placing here for the 2, Prince of Bondi, who had every possible chance. It was a nice ride by Lisa Staples, but just in that last 50, couldn't reel in the leading Quinella. And 5, Blazing Gun, who sort of wasn't much there when Kira went for him at the furlong pole, and will have to settle for 4th. 4, 1, 2 and 5, a half by a half are the margins. 4 Lasting Legacies by War Chant from Perceptive Miss, trained by Peter Fernie, ridden by Tash Faithfull, owned by Mrs. T. Taylor, Mrs. L. Taylor, and also the Yarradale Stud Syndicate, and F4 Fairthorn. Second is the 1 Perfect Ruler for Helen Harding and Zeph and Johnston Porter by Universal Ruler from Perfect Attraction, owned by C. Harding, B. Sullivan, M. Hayden, and also Mrs. J. Taskinen. Third in the 2, that's Prince of Bondi for Crystal Burns and Lisa Staples, by Bondi from Wawa Toozy, owned by Crystal herself, and 5 gets 4th, Blazing Gun for Stephen Miller and Kira Yule. Race 2 is the Encore Monitoring Maiden, which comes up at 1:24, a field of 10 to run, no scratchings. In the meantime, let's jump down into the yard for the post-race after the win of Lasting Legacies.
Thanks very much, Royce. I've got Peter Fernie here. He's saddling up 19 runners today. He's made a good start to the day. Pete, tell us about this horse. I see in the ownership, Mrs. T. Taylor, a couple of heavy hitters.
Yeah, Jimmy sent it up just trying to get the west speed and see if it could light the dry tracks, and it's done well. It copped a fair bit of interference last week, so it was a good win today, and Tash rode it absolutely beautiful.
Up to a mile today, certainly in its favour as well.
Yeah. So Jimmy always thought it'd need a mile. We were going to lead, but it was a bit windy, so we just sat it. So it was a good win today. Rode it perfect.
What'd you make of the stablemate? I Know Nothing led them up, but didn't quite find.
Very ordinary.
Yep. You've got 19, as I mentioned. Who would be some of your better chances of the day you're looking forward to saddling up?
I've got some really short ones close at hand, and then one in the next, Heavy Metal, and I think Feuding in the last, a very good chance.
But just on Heavy Metal, is very, very short. Do you think too short or should be winning?
I don't set the prices, mate.
Do you think should be hard to beat, though?
Yeah, it's got all the ability in the world. If it wants to do things right, it should win.
Hopefully we're speaking throughout the day. Well done.
Thanks, mate.
Peter Fernie there. Here's Tash Faithfull. She's had a wonderful season. She's catching up with Riley now.
Certainly has, Michael. Another winner on the board for Tash. Tash, that was your first time on board Lasting Legacies here this afternoon. Travelled really well throughout and clearly had plenty left in the tank at the finish.
Yeah, absolutely. Got an absolute beautiful run in transit and sort of got to hop on the back of the favourite at about 500 to go, and he sort of gave me a little bit of a track into the straight, but I was travelling better than it pretty early, and yeah, he got the job done.
I know you weren't on board, but it was a really nice run here at Kalgoorlie first up. Then was perhaps a little bit disappointing last start, but maybe was just looking for a little bit more ground, which he stepped out over today.
Yeah, I think so, and he had a nice soft draw and gotten that beautiful rhythm in running, and I think last start he sort of got knocked down a little bit, so had a few things go wrong. Today everything went right.
It would be Tash Faithfull's best of the rest of today's program.
Ooh, hard to pick. I think Decoration worked really nice for Pierce's the other day. I think it'd be hard to beat today.
Well, I hope you're right, Tash, and well done in the first.
Thank you.
Tash Faithfull there. She's been seeing them very, very well lately. The numbers in the first from Cal are 4, 1, 2 and 5. 6 more to come here from the Goldfields.